Hey there, science explorers, and welcome. Get ready to put your brain to the test with our super fun, super fast Metals Super Quiz. This is your big chance to show off everything you know about the incredible world of metals.
Oh, I bet you are. We're going to cover everything from super shiny gold to powerful magnets. So, you think you're up for the challenge? Awesome. Let's dive right in with question number 1.
Okay, first question up. We know for sure they don't just grow on trees, right? So, where do we actually find metals out there in nature? Have a think. Where do they really come from?
So, did you get it? The answer is ore. That's right, ore. It's basically a special kind of rock that has all these valuable metals locked away inside it. Pretty cool, huh? And to get to all that good stuff, we have to mine for it.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Think about this for a second. Why is a frying pan made of metal, but your t-shirt isn't? What makes us choose a certain material for a specific job?
The answer comes down to one super important word in science: properties. You got it. Every single material has its own set of special features. You could almost think of them as skills. And we pick a material because its properties are just perfect for the job it needs to do.
And speaking of special properties, there's this group of metals that sounds really fancy. What are noble metals? What do you think makes a metal so noble?
Well, it's because they're the metals that don't rust. Simple as that. Even in wet, damp conditions, they just stay shiny and beautiful. It's why things like gold, silver, and platinum are so perfect for jewelry or royal crowns. They're always going to look amazing.
Okay, this next one is really cool. Picture a blacksmith, right? With a giant hammer banging on a piece of glowing hot metal. What is that incredible property called that lets the metal bend and get shaped into something new without just shattering into a million pieces?
That awesome superpower is called malleability. I know, it's a big word, but all it really means is that something can be hammered or pressed into a new shape and it won't break. That is exactly how they make the smooth, curvy body of a car.
Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about another key property: electricity. So, which metal is super famous for being an amazing conductor, meaning it lets electricity and heat flow through it really, really easily?
You got it. It's copper. In fact, if you could peek inside the walls of your own house, you'd find that all the electrical wires that power your lights, your TV, everything, they're all made of copper. It's absolutely the perfect metal for that job.
All right, ready to play with some magnets? I thought so. Now, there are a few metals out there that are magnetic, which just means a magnet will stick right to them. Can you name 2?
So, how'd you do? If you said iron or steel, you are absolutely right. Nickel and cobalt are also correct. Hey, if you got any 2 of those, give yourself a pat on the back. You are officially a magnet master. Nice one.
Okay, let's stick with magnets. We all know they have 2 ends, right? A north pole and a south pole. So, what happens if you try to push the same poles together? Like a north pole trying to touch another north pole?
They repel. It's like there's this weird invisible force field pushing them away from each other. They just will not touch. And that super powerful pushing away feeling, that's called repulsion. Okay, get ready, because this next one is a little tricky. Think about all the metals you can. They're solid, right? You can hold them. Well, almost all of them. There is one and only one metal that's actually a liquid at room temperature. Do you know what it is?
The answer is mercury. It's that really cool silvery liquid that you might have seen in some older thermometers. It is totally 100% unique among all the metals.
All right, it's time for another one of those big science words that describes a really cool property. What does it mean when we say a metal is ductile?
It's actually pretty simple. It just means that a metal can be stretched out into a really, really thin wire without breaking. Hey, remember how we talked about copper being in all those electrical cables? Well, its ductility is what lets us make those super long, thin wires to begin with.
You know, it's not always good news for some metals. What do we call that process when a metal, say an iron fence, is left outside in the rain, and it starts to get all weak and flaky from the air and water?
That process is called corrosion. And you know what? The most famous kind of corrosion is something we've all seen before. It's rust. Yep, that flaky, reddish-brown stuff you see on an old bike chain or a forgotten nail. And you know what? That leads us perfectly into our final question of the quiz.
If we know that some metals rust, the big question is, how do we stop it from happening? Can you name just one way to protect iron from getting all rusty?
Okay, let's see the answers. There are a bunch of right ones here. You could have said putting a coat of paint on it, covering it with plastic, using oil or grease, or even coating it with a different metal that doesn't rust, like zinc. If you said any of those, you nailed it. Fantastic job.
And just like that, we are at the end of our metals super quiz. You did an absolutely amazing job. We learned that metals come from ore, they have these incredible properties like malleability, and we know how to protect them from corrosion. The biggest thing to remember is that metals are literally everywhere, doing all sorts of important jobs. So for your final challenge, just look around the room you're in right now. Can you find 3 things made of metal? Go on, have a look. Thanks so much for being a science superstar today.